What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I am back with a video where this time once again, we're looking at the 2022 season, and specifically the MVP race. Now as you guys know, there's three major candidates, that being Giannis, Embiid, as well as Jokic. And at the end of the day, all three players have a really good case of winning the award. But I think one guy has the best case, that being Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, first up for our video today, let's get one thing straight. The NBA MVP, there's no defined criteria or any rules or requirements you have to meet. But I think most NBA fans know, at the end of the day, you have to have great stats, be valuable, and your team has to be a top 5 or even top 3 seed. That is a pretty dumbed down version and overall outline of being an NBA MVP. So when looking at Giannis, looking at his stats, he's averaging 29.8 points per game, the highest of his career, 11.5 boards, 5.8 assists, 1.4 blocks, on 55, 30, and 72 splits, also with 1.1 steals. For the overall NBA, he's top 5 in scoring, as well as top 5 in rebounds. Stats-wise, Giannis obviously has a great case for being the MVP. And looking at his two previous MVPs, I would say Giannis this year has the best raw stat numbers. And speaking of those MVPs, that's a big disadvantage for Giannis in his overall race, as voter fatigue is 100% real. And when it comes to NBA media, it's no secret Giannis isn't their favorite or most marketable player. Even looking at Jokic, voter fatigue for him has definitely been real. And I think Joel Embiid this year has the best overall narrative, but not case for the MVP. And looking at Joel's Sixers, virtually the entire year, they've been a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. For Giannis' Bucks, that's far from the case. As 20 games into the season, they weren't even a top 8 team in the Eastern Conference. But for Giannis, he plays best when it matters most. And over the last 2 months, when teams really get geared up for the playoffs, he's been averaging 32.3 points per game, 12.2 boards, 5.9 assists, 1.2 steals, 1.2 blocks, on 59, 35, and 73 splits. And during that time period, Milwaukee is a 13-4 record. And even going more in depth, Giannis every month has improved his scoring and raised his game. Looking from November to December, January, February, even March, he's improved his scoring every single year. Once again, Giannis, the higher the stakes, the better he plays. And since the Bucks' early season struggles, Giannis routinely has been averaging 30 points per game, 12 boards, and 5 assists on insane shooting splits. And I do want to note one thing, looking at the Bucks' other 4 starters, that being Jrue Holiday, Chris Middleton, Grayson Allen, and Brook Lopez, all those players have missed significant time. Lopez, outside of 1 game, has missed the entire season. Jrue Holiday's missed 13 games, Middleton 12 games, and Grayson Allen also 12 games. That is a pretty sizable amount of games to miss, but even with that being the case, the Bucks are still at worst a top 3 seed in a very competitive East. And once again, looking at all 3 players, Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid, their raw stat numbers are all eerily similar. But one thing for Giannis that he's clear and way better at is fourth quarter scoring in the late game situations. This year in those fourth quarters, averaging 8.6 points per game, the highest in the NBA, on 56, 31, and 74 splits, with a plus-minus of plus 108. Yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best fourth quarter scorer in the entire NBA, not Embiid, not DeRozan, not even Kevin Durant. Also looking at more advanced stats, when it comes to Giannis, he's simply dominant in the paint as well as transition. When it comes to the paint, he has an NBA high 380 made field goals on 77% shooting. Less than 5 feet, he has nearly 400 makes on 74%, and less than 8 feet, 430 makes on 70% shooting. And when it comes to fast break buckets, he's the NBA leader with 8.5 per game on 60% shooting. From a pure dominant standpoint, Giannis is far and away the best overall player in the entire NBA. And I would argue for defenses, the scariest thing to see is Giannis with the ball going downhill, attacking the basket. When it comes to Embiid and Jokic, they're both unique players, but in terms of overall raw dominance, they're not on the level of someone like Giannis. Now, also one thing for Giannis that goes in his favor is the defensive end of the floor. The stats as well as the eye test back up Giannis being the best defender in the entire NBA. And from a two-way standpoint, he's simply the better overall player compared to Embiid as well as Jokic. And we're looking at a three-man race for the MVP crown. Once again, all these players are eerily similar and have great cases. But if you want to boil it down to its simplest point, who is the best overall player out of these three? You have Jokic, a great passer, very efficient, a dominant scorer. You have Embiid, a great low post presence. He's versatile and is carrying his Philadelphia team to a top 3 seed. Then you have Giannis, who simply does more than both those guys. For the Bucks, he's their defensive anchor, guarding 1 through 5, and on offense, their number 1 scoring option, giving you 30 points per game. And looking at Giannis versus Embiid, off the raw stat numbers, Giannis in that respect is the better overall player, having a better season. Add in the better defense, and it's a no contest of who has a better MVP case. And looking at Jokic, his one big flaw, which isn't his fault, is his team record and his standings. Right now, Denver, they're a 6th seed, barely behind the Mavericks as well as the Jazz. Historically in NBA history, 6 seeds don't win MVPs regardless of the context. I know Murray and Porter have both been out, but looking through NBA history, since 2000, only one MVP ever has won the award, not being a top 3 seed in their respective conference. I think that for Jokic, looking at the voters, will be held against him big time in comparison to Giannis. And once again, boiling it down, making it very simple, Giannis Antetokounmpo has the most well-rounded MVP case out of the other 2 players. His team's a top 3 seed, his stats are amazing, his advanced numbers, his paint presence, his fourth quarter play, how his team's thriving despite injuries, and how late in the year, his play has gotten drastically better. Taking all that into account, knowing the MVP history, the criteria, I think it's pretty clear Giannis is the 2022 NBA's most valuable player. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts below. Who do you think is MVP? Did I get it wrong? Did I get it right? And make your case for Jokic, Embiid, or even Giannis. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.